Parasocial relationships are very odd and very unnatural. Imagine thinking that you know somebody from a 5, 10, 20 minute video. Maybe they post once a week, a couple times a week.
Anyway, um,
What people don't realize, people who are influencing, right? They're gonna post the best sides of them and the best parts of their days and of their lives. Even if they are being honest and as raw as they call it, they still edit the video, right? They don't show everything fully uncut and fully raw. And yet you have people on the internet who are like, oh, I feel like I know this person, defending these people as if these are people that they've lived with, people who are their kids. I'm like, you don't even defend your own family like that, but you would defend a whole stranger on the internet just because you've attached yourself to their videos, but you've never met them. You haven't actually seen what their energy is really like and how they are on a day to day basis. I can think of one example. There is this situation going on right now. I don't really follow influencers, right? But that's why I'm not going to name names because I don't want like their crowd coming to this side because I generally don't care deeply enough. But they make great examples for my point of this married couple who they're getting separated, or they are because the wife decided to ask for divorce. And you have a whole bunch of people who are saying, oh, she's not going to find a man like him, or, he was too good to be true, which I find very interesting because people are like, she's going to regret leaving a good man. These people don't know him. Imagine not knowing anything about a marriage. My first question is, were you a part of their marriage? Was this like a threesome type of marriage type of thing, like an open marriage? Why do you think that you know all of these details? That was never actually said to you. You kind of just saw a certain portrayal, but every story has two sides or multiple if there's multiple people involved, of course. When it comes to people's marriages, there's two sides. There's two different versions of what happened because there's two different people who perceived everything in their own way. People say there's three sides, there's the truth and then the two visions of the people involved. But as an outsider, you really have nothing, no input that you can say when you have not lived in these people's shoes, being around each other, the way that they're around each other and the intimacy that they share. You have not seen everything. You know what I mean? And even if someone decided to quote unquote leave a good partner based on your own perception of this partner, why would you want them to force themselves to stay? Because you perceive them as a good partner, staying with somebody that you are not happy with just because you're like, oh, they're too good to be true. I don't want someone else to benefit off of that. That's just really selfish. You might as well leave them so that you can find what you're looking for and they could be appreciated and find what they're looking for. You know what I mean? So I find that whole thing is like, oh, you shouldn't leave a good man. You shouldn't leave a good woman. No, leave them. Actually, leave them. If they're not for you and you're not appreciating them, or you guys, the love languages are different, please leave them so that you can both respectively either be alone, find your joy alone, or with another person who will understand you and appreciate you the way that you were meant to be. But yeah, just seeing the way people see things through this weird colored filter when it comes to online influencers and the attachment that they build, it's very interesting and also very concerning because imagine we grew up watching TV shows and it's a TV show. And yeah, you can feel emotions, laughter, anger based on what's going on in the TV show. But at the end of the day, you know that these are characters and they have nothing to do with your life. Influencers, I think some of them do play a character, but I know they are real people. What people don't understand, they have nothing to do with your personal life. You can decide not to watch them any day. They won't interfere with the bills that you're paying, the checks that you're receiving. They won't interfere with anything in your life. So it's like, why put so much of that pressure on them, expecting your perceived level of perfection? And everybody's standards are so different. These influencers that you hold up to a pedestal, when you think that they mess up because they've acted in a way that was not in alignment with the box that you placed them in, that's when everybody wants to freak out. But it's like, who said that that was the expectation? You said it in your own head. They never said anything. You set that expectation because you put them at such a high standard and looked at them at such a high regard. And I think it's the same with standards in general. People who say this girl is too bougie. She expects too much. She's not asking you to give that to her. She's not holding a gun to your head. There's a man who will be like, what she's asking for is literally nothing and give her that. Just because you can't give her that doesn't mean that someone else can't. Go find someone who matches what you can give. You know, people complain about things that have nothing to do with them ever. And it's just such a waste of time. I think a lot of the things people complain about are things that don't make sense to complain about. You know, when I see people living their lives, doing their things, having their own thoughts and ideas, you don't see me freaking out because it has nothing to do with me personally. And I think a lot of people lose sight of that. Not everybody thinks the same way as you do. Not everybody has the same way of expressing themselves, of seeing the world. Everyone's their own person. Like, are these things that we just don't learn or that we don't understand? Because I find it's very easy to understand, but people seem to have this thing where they want everyone to fit in a box. And that's what I mean when I think people really don't perceive others. They perceive things through their own lens always. They will not perceive you. They never do. Not truly, actually. And I find that really depressing, honestly. It's depressing because, you know, I think as humans, we do seek understanding from each other, but everyone's dealing with their own baggage and traumas, and they don't really see things outside of that lens, which is unfortunate because I find they miss out on being able to connect with others and learning new things aside from what they know and what they think is the end all be all. But that's why my advice, don't take anything personally from everybody, although I know you are a person, so naturally you will take things personal, but try to keep track of it and not take things so personally all the time because people are not really viewing you as who you are. They're viewing you from their own traumas and lenses and preconceived notions, assumptions, everything. They're viewing you from what they think they know from the past, and they're looking at the future with past lenses always. They're looking at things through their own tainted heart. So if someone tells you, no one's ever gonna love you the way that you wanna be loved, you can just tell them, maybe not you, because that's your capacity. Your capacity is lower than what I need, but there's someone else who can give me that like it's nothing. We all love at our own capacities based on, again, the things we've gone through and just who we are as a person, how we've been formed in this world. Don't let people tell you, oh, you could never do this or you could never find that. Okay, you're not the one who'll be able to give it to me with your limited mindset, but someone else can give me that in a second. I can give myself that in a second. The universe can give me that in a second. You know what I mean? Like, don't let people's limiting beliefs limit you. That's the end of my rant. I've been getting interruptions. There's a lot going on today, but yeah. Moral of the story is people need to get off the internet and build their own lives and personalities. You do not know these influencers. They are not perfect. They are human beings recording their lives, editing it, and whatever you see that you don't like, you have the option to click off and stop watching. Go live your life, be free, and you will attract the things that you need when you're not so enveloped in negative energy. That's my tip for the day.